That's why I want to get a little bit of energy, get a little bit of movement, get everybody woken up a little bit. We have a guest this morning. We have Gabriel from Edward Jones. And one of the points that I had made about our top workplace is that I feel one of the things that keeps us as a top workplace is the fact that we have a goal of life betterment, not only for ourselves and the company, but for each and every one of you. When one thing that Jeff said and that I said is we look at you and we see the best that you have already there, already happening. We see past all of the worry, all of the fear, and we see everything that you're possibly capable of doing. And we are just hoping that we can be the vessel, the tool that you can connect with as a company, as an individual, to help you get over that and get to achieving everything that you have that you're deserved of having. So we do these things to bring guests like Gabriel in. Gabriel, come on down. You can unmute yourself and let's just kind of give an introduction and tell us who you are and how you help people do the same things that we do as a company for life betterment. How do you do those things for the people that you work with? How can you be a valuable asset for us and the people that we know?
Good morning. Thanks again for having me here. I know you guys, you're busy people. You've got a lot going on. I hear the real estate market is on fire. So anytime you're sitting in here, it's taking business away from you. I'm with Edward Jones Investments. I've been in the financial services industry since '97. I think I just turned about 9.5 at the time. Labor laws were a little bit more lax, but I've been in the industry for a long time, helping people in various ways. And what I do is learn and meet people and find out, who they are, what their objective is, and use the tools, the things that I've learned over time to help them better themselves from a financial perspective.
Good. Excellent. Now, I'm just going to hand it over to you so you can start diving in and just telling them about some of the tools that us as real estate professionals can benefit from. Because one of the things that we don't have as an independent contractor is we don't have the ability for company sponsored or backed 401k programs, retirement programs, things like that. You don't have those things. And usually the company also has other avenues, whether it's stocks or other investments that you have. So as an independent contractor, you are just that, independent contractor, and you have to make those decisions independent for yourself. How many of us know a world about stocks, investments, bonds, banks, IRAs, 401ks? How many of us know all of that? Exactly. So that's where somebody like Gabriel comes in. He's, just from what he said, he helps you. He wants to sit down with you and he wants to build a relationship with you to get to know who you are so he can best say, hey, this is where I'm going. Great, I can help you get there. Let's start looking at these tools. This is what you have. Here's your income. Here's your investments. And I'll turn it over to you. Go ahead and tell us what you got.
Appreciate it. First and foremost, I want to make sure everyone online can hear me. Maybe I might have to do this or something like that. Okay. All right, good. Thanks. All right, so I brought a few pieces of information for you. And to be honest, I could have brought a whole lot of stuff, but it's not helpful. So really what I'd like to get out of this conversation to make it the best use of your time is really get your questions. Because, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, GameStop, IRAs, 401ks, it's a whole lot of stuff. And like I said, I've been in the industry since '97. So there's a lot of things that I know that I can spew out, but it's not helpful if it doesn't mean anything to you. So I really want to find out with every client that I work with, I start from, what's your most important objective? What are you trying to accomplish? Maybe it's, I want to save for retirement. How am I going to pay for my child's education? If something happens from a long-term take care perspective, because I had to take care of my parents or, someone, a loved one, what do I need to know about that? And most importantly, who should cut my grass? You laugh, but I'm serious. I want all my clients to appreciate my advice so much that they come to me and ask me, hey, I need a lawn person. Who should I go to?
Oh, I thought they were going to ask you to cut their grass for them too. Thank you. I'm glad you did.
I have done that before, but I have done that before. You got to roll your sleeves up. So the bits of information that I brought with me that I'll go over quickly is, first one is the SEP IRA versus simple IRA. And again, like Chris said, you don't have a 401k, so how can you save towards retirement? And I'm not going to bore you and go through the whole thing, But a few things that I want to highlight on this document. On the top left, under both plans offer, bullet point number 1 and bullet point number 2 are what I want to focus on. Contributions that are deductible by the business, including contributions from the owner, and tax-deferred savings for retirement. The best way to save towards retirement, and that's why 401ks are key, is that they're pre-tax dollars that you're investing, and then it grows tax deferred afterwards. So it has, because it's not being taxed up until you take it out, there's more money working for it. Next, towards the middle of the box under SEP, you'll see $58,000 in the row where it indicates employer contributions. 58,000. So with a SEP IRA, you can contribute up to 25% of your income or your earnings, or 58,000, whichever is lower. With a simple IRA, the row right underneath, you'll see the 13,500 or 3,000. So those are the limits for that. So that's where you can see, based off of what makes the most sense for you, your income. Once you have the conversation with your tax advisor, and that's what I do, is I work with tax advisors, attorneys, etc., to make sure we're making the best decision that makes sense for you and your business.
So everybody online, you do have these in your email. So it was shared to you through Google Drive, so you can access these now or anytime to review any of those. Well, I guess let's start here, because I know some of us, what's the basic difference between an IRA and a 401k? Let's go real simple and kind of get some of that out of the way.
So a 401k is a plan that's established through an organization. So when you have a big company like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, etc., at Edward Jones, I've got a 401k that's been established. But then it costs so much, and there's so much paperwork that goes behind establishing a 401k. That's why someone like you or small businesses, the IRS came up with other options for them to set up retirement plans with similar advantages. However, they don't cost as much to set up. With a simple IRA and a SEP IRA, it's especially for a 1099 employee and you're the only employee. Hey, isn't it great to have my business, my earnings in my business go directly towards my retirement plan, as opposed to being taxed first, come over to me, and then go to an IRA.
Excellent. How many of you have an IRA set up already? Okay.
And so you know what the limits are on that, 6,000 and one additional 1,000.
Let's go one step before that. How many of you are contributing something to your IRA regularly, who have an automatic deduction out of your account going in? And how many of you are maxing out what you can contribute into your IRA? How many of you know how much you can max out going into your IRA? So those are some things that Gabriel is able to really provide the value on here. Make sure that you're maximizing the benefits that you get out of that.
And the great, fantastic thing is, I'm not an attorney, so every minute that we talk, I'm not going to give you a So you can come hang out with me. We'll have lunch. I'm over by Big Ben and 301. We can chat. We can go over your concerns, things that you want to go over. And at the end of the day, you just walk out and you're hopefully a little bit more knowledgeable. The next document I wanted to go over is the How We Work Together document, helping you reach your financial goals. And this is what I alluded to earlier when Chris was asking how we similar. With my clients, my best clients are those who I end up becoming really close friends with, which is the same thing with you guys. I want to know my clients. The more I know about them, the better I am able to help them, because I can come here and spew a whole bunch of things. Hey, I can help you with retirement planning, education funding, life insurance, long-term care, disability, estate planning. You can work with your attorney, et cetera, and you just nod your head and walk out of there, and I'll go, yeah, I did a great job. I told you everything I could do. But if I don't find out what's most important to you, what's critical, then we're off to a bad start. So that's what this document goes over. It's important for me to understand who you are, what you're about, because the best time I get the most information out of you is when we're just hanging out, having a beer, having a burger, just chatting. There's no agenda. All of a sudden you say something and I go, whoa, wait. You mentioned this. I'm off the clock, but my mind's still turning. because whenever I hear something that I've heard, over the years of doing what I do, I go, wait, you could do this that'll better your situation. So let's talk about that. So that's what this document goes over. It's all about the relationship. Things like somebody might come to me and say, hey, I want a life insurance policy and I've heard about this whole life. I ask, well, why do you want that? Because if I don't ask why, I can just turn around and just sell it to you. But then there might be a more effective way of meeting your goals. Let's combine a term policy with a permanent policy. We'll reduce the costs on that. What are we trying to protect against for how long? You know, I'm not the type of person who you just come and say, hey, I want $1 million whole life policy, and I go, okay, here you go, and I know that I'll be paid, the best on that. So again, it's important for me to understand what your important goals are, and even when saving for retirement, to talk about things that are important like emergency funds. With the type of business that you're in, you're not sure how tomorrow is going to look. Today might look great from a sales perspective. Tomorrow might not be so great. So we need to plan towards those things to make sure you're continually spending, the way you need to, and making sure you're putting some funds away for a rainy day just in case. The last document I'm going to go over is it's a checklist that one of the mutual fund companies I partner up with, Edward Jones partners up with, put out. Again, I can ask, what's your biggest financial concern? What may I help you with? And you don't know what you don't know. So this is a great document that I give out to all my clients for them to look at, check off. Maybe they might see something there that says, hey, you know what? I never thought of that. That might be a concern. And, of course, the title of the document is what keeps you up at night. And if you were sleeping well, I apologize. But I'm just the messenger. So um, it's little things like, I changed jobs. I've got a 401k sitting somewhere. You know, maybe it's not doing anything. I've seen situations where I had a client referred to me, and she had a 401k sitting somewhere. Well, I had a current job, but it was in a money market, so it wasn't earning much. And she kept hearing, "Oh, the market's doing great. The market's doing great." And she's like, "Well, I've only earned an average of 2%, 3% the last 11, 12 years," and that's because she wasn't managing it properly. And so that's what I do with my clients as well. Even though it's not an account that sits at Edward Jones, if it's somebody who has a 401k, which doesn't apply to you guys, but I offer to look at it to say, okay, let's make sure at least it's aligned the way it should be. So again, this document goes through a couple of items that, feel free to give me a call if there's something you want to chat with. Again, I'm at the corner of Big Ben and 301. I usually come down here and harass Drew every now and then. We've been business partners for a long time, and of course Joe can you know help you find where I am, because he helped me open up the office back in 2019. So he can hunt me down for you if you need help. So thank you very much. Yes, by the Winn-Dixie Shopping Complex. So if you're looking at Winn-Dixie, I'm the third location to the right next to Great Clips. Yep.
Does anybody have any questions they wanted to ask while we're here online, in person? Feel free. Go ahead. Do you work with Roth IRAs? I'm just repeating for online. Do you work with Roth IRAs as well?
Yes, I do. I do work with Roth IRAs as well.
Can you help someone who has, because a lot of us in this business come from some other career, some other work, some other history. We have 401ks or other investments there. Can you help strategize from where they were, where it's at, to getting it to a place that might be more beneficial or helping them move forward?
Absolutely. And so that's where the traditional IRA comes in. So if you worked somewhere else and you had a 401k there, rather than just leaving it there, because once you leave there, you can't do anything with it. Maybe you can make a few changes, but you don't have the advice that you need. So we can roll that over into a traditional IRA, and I can help you with the paperwork and the process, and then we'll invest it the way it should be invested. So how do I know how to invest it? One of the first steps to starting a relationship, there's a 6-question survey that I do, and it's really trying to get an idea of how you feel about risk. when you were at Busch Gardens, what kind of roller coaster do you like to go on? Because we need to make sure you're on the right roller coaster so that you don't jump off, right? So that's what that questionnaire does. It helps us assess that. And even after we're done with that, it's not in stone because really you might say, hey, I love taking risks. But once it really starts to go high and drop down, you're going, whoa, I need to get out. So let's reassess that. And part of it is you might still say, hey, I want the 8-9% annualized average return, but I don't want any risk. Well, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So we have to have that conversation. And so we have that conversation to make sure that, if the survey is saying this, but the way you react is that, and we need to bring you somewhere in the middle so that, as we go along, you're comfortable sleeping at night. You're comfortable knowing what's going on. And my goal is to make sure, even though you say, I don't know this stuff, that's why I'm paying you for this. My goal is to help you understand it as best as possible because I want you to be a big part of your retirement plan. Because when things aren't going well, you'll understand why. So it makes it easier for me. So the more I impart to you, the easier it is for us to work together, and the more you trust.
Janet?
Okay. Well, Vanguard doesn't have me.
What?
Next question. No, really. So I love that question. So a lot of people will go to like a Vanguard where they have like an exchange traded fund. I can put you into Vanguard exchange traded fund. What some people might do is say, I'm going to go to a Vanguard or I'll go to a Fidelity because they say trades are cheaper and I can do it myself. It's similar to someone saying, well, I'll go find my house myself. I don't need a realtor. So it's the same thing. Yes, exactly. So whilst and I go over all the costs associated with the relationship, whilst it may cost you more to have a relationship with me, you can get the same fund investments through Vanguard, through MFS, through American Funds, etc. That you can go out and do on your own. It's just like you have me to work with. And then not only that, but not only are we talking about your investments, but I'm asking about your life insurance needs. What's going on with that. A lot of my younger clients, when we're talking about life insurance in their late 20s, early 30s, I usually talk to them about disability, not disability, but long-term care. Because when they get to their 50s, 55, we'll be talking about that, and I'll be telling them it's important to them and having them make a decision. So why not talk about it when they're getting a life insurance policy where they can attach it onto it and at least be partially covered. That way, it's less of an expense for them when they get to their 50s. So, the person you're working with, are they having those conversations about that with you? Or are they going to wait till you get to your 50s and then say, oh, yeah, by the way, let's talk about long-term care?
When are you going to turn 50? 5 years from now?
Yes. No penalty. And that's why we're rolling over into a traditional IRA, because the traditional IRA has the same IRS advantages as a 401k. So you're allowed to roll it over into a traditional IRA, and it maintains that. So what the IRS did is they set up different, really the investments and stuff like that is really the same thing. It's just that what kind of structure, what kind of code, IRS code do they have set up for it? So the 401k and traditional IRA are similar, so you can roll them over in between. The Roth is different in how it works. The SEP and the Simple is different because it's meant for small businesses. That way they can put more than the 6,000 that the traditional IRA has to offer. So, but for the most part, it's the investments or how we strategize around that is the same thing.
Good. Any other questions online or in the room at the moment? Go ahead, Darby, ask away. The question is, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but how do you feel about a correction in the market? Anything coming soon? What are your thoughts?
I should have brought my crystal ball in. I do not know. Nobody knows, and that's why a lot of the conversation back in the, I think it was the 2010, 2011, there was a lot of conversation about inflation. Inflation's coming. Inflation, 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 inflation. It didn't happen the way people thought it would. There's a lot of educated opinions of what people think is going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen, and that's why the strategy I implore, and a lot of financial advisors implore is we're not going to focus on the today, next week, next month. If you tell me we're setting aside money for 3+ years, then I know, okay, we're going to plan towards your long-term strategy, because a market cycle is 3 years. You know, and I can tell you historically, here's roughly what's happened with your risk tolerance within a average over a long period of time. If it's short term, we're looking at more conservative. So I do not know what's going to happen. Um,
Darby, what's my home going to be worth in 3 years? Oh, you left your crystal ball at home too. I know. I know.
what 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 I can share with you is I have this huge American Funds poster in my office, and it shows one of their oldest mutual funds since 1930s. And what it does is it shows every single year how that fund has performed. It started off at $10,000, and if I can remember the numbers correctly, it says, well, had you lived that long and stayed invested and not panicked and stayed in that fund, it would have been worth, I think, about 60 million if you didn't uh, reinvest your dividends. I think it's 130 million if you did dividend reinvestment. But then what you also see there is it has marked in blue and red all the years that ended positive and all the years that ended negative, and you see more blues than you do red. So more years have ended positive than negative. However, you have like what happened last year where in March it dipped down hard, but then had you stayed invested, by the end of the year, the market ended positive. So those are the things that we talk about. And when I said I educate you on the things that I'm aware of, because the more you understand, the more comfortable you feel with it. So those are the things we talk about to make sure that you kind of know, okay, these things happen. And when the market's doing well, if you need to take some money aside because that'll make you feel better, let's do that. But long term, it's all about looking at what the long term objective is.
So Gabriel left his crystal ball at his office. So if you want those answers, schedule a time with him. You can go sit down. He'll pull the crystal ball out, and we'll see what we all see together.
So the way we work together is up to you. One way we work together is commission based. So if you say, you know what, I'm just want to put it into an investment and just let it go 4, 5, 10 years. I don't want to make any changes. Okay, we can do that. So that's about 2.5% on depending on what the investments are. If it's stocks, it's 2.5% on buy and the sell. If it's mutual funds, depending on the mutual fund company, it could be somewhere around 5%, 5.5, 4.75. It depends on how much you have invested in that one company, because there are break points. If we do fee based, which is what a lot of my clients do, it's 1.35% annually, and it's based off of the value of the account or of the account. And so each month, 1/12 of that, 1 month's worth of that percentage is taken out based off of that value at that time. So in terms of changes in the account, we can make as many changes as we want, and there's no commissions charged to it because it's just that fee. A lot of clients tend to like that because when it comes around November and I say, hey, we need to make a change, you're not thinking, well, it's Christmas time. Gabriel's just trying to make extra commissions, right? It's because if the account goes up, you're happy. If the account goes up, that same percentage equates to higher dollars. So it's a win-win situation. When we're doing life insurance, the insurance company pays me, and that's what I was talking about, permanent insurance versus term. Permanent tends to cost more whole life permanent policies. So if I write you $1 million policy, permanent, all permanent, it's going to cost you a lot more because the insurance company is likely to lose out. So it's going to cost you more. And I get paid 80%. Well, Edward Jones gets paid 80% of the first year's premium. If we do a combination of term and permanent based off of what your needs are, that's going to reduce the cost because term insurance costs less. And so we'd review that and say, instead of a 1 million permanent, let's do an 800,000 term, 200,000 permanent, because we know some of your obligations, some of your concerns after 10, 20, 30 years are going to go away. So let's cover that with a cheap way of doing it using term. So in that case, the insurance company pays me annuity, same thing. The insurance company pays me based off of the annuity that we get you into, et cetera, et cetera. But nothing ever comes out of your pocket. You're never required to write a check unless you're writing a check to put money into your account. So that's why I said we can talk all day and you can walk out and hopefully have more knowledge, but your pocket's still intact.
So is your contact information on any of the forms that you had?
Yes, if you open the folders, you've got my business cards in there.
So what I'll do for everybody online, I'll take a picture of his business card and send that out to the team so you have that in your email as well. And the best way to get in touch with you, reach out directly on the card, schedule an appointment to come into the office, stop into the office. What's the best way?
Call the office. If I'm not available, Carol will answer and she'll schedule you for a phone appointment, Zoom appointment. If you want to come into the office, come on in. So just let me know. I do nights and weekends because I know people work. So if nights or weekends are easier for you, just let Carrie know. I am. I go out of town. I've got my cell phone. I'm still working.
Yep.
So.
Excellent. So anything else? Any other questions for Gabriel? Good. Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you for the breakfast as well. So I'm gonna transition and finish out. We got a little less than, we got 7 minutes left, so I will run out of time as always. But that's okay. A couple things I wanted to go through and kind of hit on with you guys. Some of them are reminders. April 7th, next week, we have the top agent for last year, 2020 awards. So if you had an award coming out, we have an invitation RSVP sent out. If you haven't RSVP'd, I'm still missing a few RSVPs. Please do so. Come in Wednesday for your photo op. We are going to have lunch for the top agent award winners. As I mentioned in the last meeting, if you did not and you want it as part of your goals and part of your dream board, come in after 2 p.m. on Wednesday. We will have the backdrop and everything set up. Come in on Thursday. We'll have the backdrop and everything set up. Friday, we do have somebody using this room, but I will leave it up over the weekend and into the next week. We'll probably take it down Monday night before the meeting. So you have from Wednesday till Monday to come in, grab an award, take a photo with it, put it on your dream board, say, this is what I want, this is where I'm going to be, and sit there and put that up somewhere where you see it every day. Next Friday, the 9th, we have the food truck, not this Friday, the following Friday. We have 2 food trucks coming out. We have a taco truck, Lego My Egg Roll, and then we have dessert trucks. So bring out your kids, bring them out for dessert. I know somebody was going to ask them if they wouldn't mind staying a little bit later with the dessert, so some of us could pick up our kids and bring them back. So we'll see. Next Tuesday, so sales meeting next Tuesday. We will have a sales meeting. We will have a roundtable. We're going to cut the roundtable a little short, and we're going to go into an Easter egg hunt. So anybody who asks, what, you're not going to be here? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I will cut you. I will bring my knife. Don't touch that egg. So, like Little Miss Competitive over here. So we will have an Easter egg hunt next Tuesday after the sales meeting. There are prizes in there. There's going to be money inside some. There are, woo! There's going, yeah, it's going to be green chocolate dollars. It's going to be, there are going to be golden eggs that have bigger prizes too. So there are going to be bigger gift cards, $25. So there's going to be things like that. So we're going to make it fun for you guys. Bring your boxing gloves and your pads because it's going to get, if any of you know any of the people in this office, it's going to be exciting. I'm going to hold my camera. The top agent for the fourth quarter and first quarter. So we do the quarterly top agent luncheon. So fourth quarter and first quarter, fourth quarter last year, first quarter of this year, trade wins April 23rd. We will have an invite sent out to you. Yes, and stay away from Shelly on the Easter egg. She aggressive. But so April 23rd, we have the trade win lunch. If you did 2 deals per month or $25,000 in that quarter, 2 deals, 6 deals in a quarter or $25,000 gross commission in that quarter, you'll have an invite coming out. Floor duty today, I'm sorry if I'm going fast. I just want to make sure I get this in. Floor duty, our floor duty agent is sick today. If anybody would like to, you're more than welcome to fill in on floor. Let Rosa know, even if you're not going to be here the entire time, it'll be a fill in. Let her know if you'll be available for phone calls. Floor duty, you must be in person, as we've been saying. Knock, get certified. Get certified, get certified, get certified for the knock program. Get certified. I highly recommend you get certified. I highly recommend you shoot some videos. I highly recommend you bring their marketing material to neighborhoods. I highly recommend you talk to a lot of homeowners about that. It is an excellent opportunity for a homeowner to buy a new home and not have to sell theirs, no contingency, no anything, for a minimal fee. All they have to do is get pre-approved for a loan, and then they will look at their property and make sure they have 30% equity and give them these possibilities. Get certified. It is going to be very beneficial and can create a lot of good conversations. Please get certified. You have someone for floor already? Okay, sorry. Thank you, Rosa. But next month, April floor duty, make sure you let Rosa know if you have any days that you can do. And title class on Thursday. And we only have a couple minutes left, so birthdays. Kalani Heyman, her birthday's tomorrow. Yay. Jimmy McDowell's birthday was this past week. Yay, this past weekend. Yeah, you old dog. Yay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jimmy. Happy birthday to you. Yay. And then Rosa's birthday was last week. Obviously, we saw all the lights and everything. She got a birthday song for her last week as well. So happy birthday to all of you. And lastly, we're going to run this right down to the end. So we got 2 minutes left. I wanted to hear and I wanted some feedback from some people. What do you think and what do you like about the brokerage, about the office, about the company, about the people that you think has kept it as a top workplace? Chat it online if you have something. Unmute yourself and say it online. It's a roundtable. I wanted to do more of this, but Gabriel had a good presentation, and so we let him go. So tell me what you think. Just open-ended. This will end. So for those of you online, I'm sorry if you can't hear, but I just want it to be an open conversation. So tell us a little bit. Synergy and help, and yeah, absolutely. Good. What else? Anybody? I love the peoples. These some nice peoples. I'ma feel so bad kicking your ass when I find that Easter egg. I'ma feel real bad. The people. Thank you. Very, very happy to hear that. Perfect. Lauren, tell her yes. She goes, say yes, Lauren. Tell them what you think. Lauren thinks the same thing. What else? Who else? Give me. Get back off the step. Amazing. Good. Excellent. Good. Mr. Joe?